explain, maybe you won't judge me so harshly. So, okay, backstory. We were told initially by our solicitor that we could extend the existing house up to 40 square metres without the need of planning permission. And at the beginning, Noel had an idea of removing the back wall and just extending outward down the whole length of the bungalow. And then the roof would slope a little bit further, so it'd be an asymmetrical roof, if you know what I mean. We measured it out. You can see where I'm standing here. That's really unflattering photograph. That would be the new boundary line, and it would just make the house a little bit bigger, the existing footprint. But when we spoke to Michael, our structural engineer, he said, look, you're going to have to put planning permission in anyway for the septic tank. At this stage, you need to really be thinking, is this going to be what you want for your forever home? Is it going to be adequate? Will you have enough room? Because you've got an opportunity to really build to purpose, you know, and it wouldn't be that much more expensive, to be honest. You're just thinking really material and labour, but now would be the time to make those kind of decisions. You don't want to be regretting it in the future. So we thought, actually, you're right. And we had this idea of possibly having another kind of barn building, a little bit like the sort of Scandi barn, black barn with a lot of timber, you know, but also loads of windows to let light in and be a more open plan. And having that as the living area and using the existing house as the sort of sleeping area, yeah, and bathrooms and so on. And so something like this would be what we'd have in mind, maybe it going off at the side to an angle with an adjoining walkway. So that's what we showed Michael, and he said, leave it to me. Michael showed us his plans. We were a little bit disappointed at first, to be honest, because he hadn't done what we asked him to do. He hadn't taken the extension to the side. We hadn't got like two separate buildings adjacent to each other. He'd extended backwards, and we really liked the idea of having the two, like almost like a repeat bungalow with the walkthrough. Liked that idea a lot, but we thought it's just not going to work because the trees are there and there's just not enough room. And we asked him about it. He said in his experience the planning department was more likely to be favourable where the frontage or the appearance of the front of the building wasn't changed, and so it was hidden away. The extension would be hidden away at the back, which is quite appropriate for our hidden house. We slept on it, and I have to admit that I really kind of liked his plan. I thought it felt a little bit more cohesive as a house, as a home, to have it in a block rather than kind of as a sideway, long sort of, you know, it might always feel a little bit detached from each other. Really liked his idea, but couldn't understand or envisage how it would fit in that space. It would come up so close to the trees. So Michael said, go and, you know, let's mark it out. So he came with us to the house and we measured it out. He did say some of those trees will have to go, maybe keep some other ones at the back. And he suggested that we speak to a tree surgeon, that we mark out the ones we want to keep and let them take the others down. So that seemed like a good compromise. So the tree surgeon came, Noel told him the ones we wanted to keep, and he looked at them all and said, they're not safe, they're too close to the house. You won't get the planning permission because the roots would come up through the foundations. There wouldn't be integrity to the build, and also they'd be dangerous because they're far too tall. Their roots were proud of the ground, so they weren't stable, and with any strong wind they're likely to fall and collapse onto the building, and you'll never get insurance. And so in a way that helped because the decision was made for us. We actually wanted to be able to have solar panels, on the roof. Also, we wanted to be able to have a lot of light in, because at the back windows, we wanted the full length windows, and they did block out a lot of light. But then the heart was saying, we can't chop trees down, they've been there for ages, and that's partly the problem. They had been there for ages, and I think when it was last lived in, even 25 years ago, they might have been half their height. So there we go, the decision was made on the grounds of safety, and the build wouldn't have been able to go ahead really with them. Good news is that we have all of the wood, and the idea is now to try and repurpose that timber. You can get these big huge lorries with saws on the back of them, I don't know what they're called, but they come to your house, they're mobile, and they cut the wood up into planks. I assume you can just get various sizes. I don't know a lot about it, we've looked into it a little bit, and apparently it's about 600 euros for a day. We thought at first, gosh, it's going to be expensive, but maybe, you know, if it's a day of 8, start at 8 and finish at 6, we might actually find that that's a long enough time for us to, you know, we can cut quite a few planks of wood in that time, and we'd have what we need that we can use in the build. Noel's concern is that we haven't got storage for it. We wouldn't be able to keep it dry, and then it won't be fit for purpose if it gets wet. So I don't really know what you do in those circumstances, whether you can somehow raise them off the ground and wrap them in tarpaulin and keep them dry. If any of you know, anybody has any ideas, let us know in the comments. If you happen to know of or be a company that does the tree, you know, wood cutting like that, maybe let us know. So the next time we make a video, we're going to be in Ireland. I will see the house for the first time without the trees, so you'll be able to see our reaction to that, and we're going to be vlogging every day that we're there. We're camping, no electricity, no water. It'll be fun. We've got a caravan, a tent, and the house itself, but the house itself doesn't have like a ground. You know, the more you sweep it, the more mud, dust you get, because it's just straight down to the earth. But Noel's managed to get a massive tarpaulin to just lay down, so we have got space for each of us. If we all fall out, we've got somewhere want to go away by ourselves. And we'll see how we get on. So follow us there. Catch you again soon. Bye bye for now.